Welcome back to Doug Tanner, the Travel Concierge, episode 2 this time, and this one's going to be called The Hidden Costs of DIY Holiday Planning. And that is an encompass all on that cost, because we're not just talking financial, there is an awful lot to do with this. This is where I met Doug Tanner himself, is talking about all of this. My name is Chris Dawes, but more importantly, let's bring out in the man himself, Doug Tanner, the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, well, blimey, there's a lot to live up to, isn't it? Yeah. Morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Yourself?
Good. Very good. Thank you. Yes, very good.
Before we get into the real crux of this, I saw that you were at a wedding fair over the weekend.
Yes. Brilliant. Yes, yes.
I'd completely forgotten that this isn't just holidays in the stereotypical sense. There's an awful lot more that this is relevant to.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, wedding fairs are great because you meet all sorts of people. The comment was so funny. My partner who was there said, "Isn't it funny how the men just follow on round and go, yes, yeah, whatever you want, that's fine." So that was great. But yes, I met some lovely people and we've got some inquiries to do. One of the more interesting ones I've got is they want to go on honeymoon, but actually what they want to do is they want to go to the sets of a TV program. It's in Canada. I won't say any more than that, but they actually want to go and visit the sets. And that's what the wife obviously wants to do. So the husband goes, yes, that's right. So, but I'm so looking forward to planning that for them, you know, and we can do everything and get it all set up for them, car hire, hotels and all that sort of stuff. So they just arrive there and I might even try and get a guide for them so they can get to all the right places. So, and that's the sort of thing that I really enjoy putting together. So, yeah.
I've always used the phrase is that where you are in your element and you enjoy it the most is if you've really got to roll your sleeves up and go and look for it. And that's something that we just wouldn't be able to go and do particularly.
Correct. Yeah, no, I mean, the suppliers I use are, and I find this odd, trade only. They will only supply to travel agents. So you couldn't necessarily go online and actually find this holiday, this plan. So that's the part I really enjoy. But even if you did, and I'll probably repeat myself a few times during this, but even if you did and you went and you did it all yourself, it's not going to cost you any more than you actually doing it yourself. So what I'm saving you is all that time of the planning and the working out all the logistics of, literally, are we going to be this hotel at this date and all this sort of stuff. So, and then another couple came along. I had no idea where they want to go. So I'm going to put 3 ideas out to them. I don't do any more than 3. I usually only do 2. 3 ideas of where they want to go. And funny, I can't remember where they were thinking. They were thinking Maldives or Canada or or somewhere else. And it's okay. Right. Okay. So I can sort of put things out. And what I'd like to say is this is a suggestion. All right. It's
inspiration, I think.
Inspiration, absolutely. It's inspiration. It's not, this is what you're going to do. This is what you could do.
Yeah.
Do you want to tweak it? Yes, absolutely. But this is a starting point, it's great fun. And I say, over 60% of what we sell, you couldn't actually find online anyway. Because I say, a lot of it's trade-only suppliers, specialist stuff that, is great because you can add so much more to a holiday than doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if we go looking online, and I know we have this conversation, and I've done it year after year. My wife and I sat down, and you go looking, and you kind of go, "Oh, that's nearly right. Let's go and look," and it resets your search again, and you got to go and go through it all again, and you're trying to make that one looks. Oh no, wait, the flight's different. But all you're really doing in most of those instances is a flight and a hotel.
Yeah.
And that's it. And to be honest with you, you're so punch drunk from the effort with that you stick with that. Whereas, I love that for me, with you, there was almost sort of 2 things. There's one that you were talking about where you kind of go, we want to be able to go and do this and we want to do that and we want to go and see that, but we would really need a guide and yada, yada. But equally, we did this with you where we said, right, it's me and my wife, a 13-year-old daughter. We want this. We want her to have entertainment of some description. We want evening shows. We want and you kind of went and were able to find the hotels that went tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
So even a boring one was still a lot of work by yourself.
Oh, it's not boring. It's not boring. It's great because, anything like that, if it ticks your boxes, then it's right for you, So, no, I love doing those. I love actually going and finding those, even if it is flights, hotel and transfers and that sort of stuff. It's a fairly straightforward one. If you can just add that little bit of extra in, then, it really does make the difference, so.
And I find that it helps us step away from going I don't know, cliche.
Yeah.
The obvious holidays, and,
Yeah.
and you kind of throw up and go, I've not really thought of that. Whether it's a country or whether it's a side of the country,
Yeah.
that all the sheep go one direction. It's like, well, actually, look at this.
Classic example. I've got a place in Italy that I send people to, and it's with a company that's trade only, and all the Italians go there for holiday. It's actually on the east coast of Italy, whereas everyone else is on the west coast. So all the holidaymakers are on the west coast, and not many Brits go there. And we've got a lovely hotel. A family went there. I was a bit nervous because it was a new customer, and I sent this family there, 2 adults, 2 children, and they came back absolutely perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Of course, if the Italians are going to go there for holidays,
It's got to be right.
it's got to be right.
Agreed.
So, and again, I would never have found that, with just going, well, you can't find it online unless you really know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So, it's having that.
Because it does, those online systems, they're forcing you down the route that they want you to go.
They've got their planes lined up to go
Exactly.
there. They've got the hotels lined up waiting for you. And yes, it's an economic model that works. So we'll get you all there.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly. I've had it so many times where we've just sort of gone, forget it. And we've just bailed out, and then we'll wait another couple of weeks before we go back to look at it again.
Yeah.
Because it can just sap the time away.
Well, that's the phrase I use quite often. I think people spend more time searching for a holiday than they actually spend on holiday.
Yeah.
So, it's, and yes, a lot of people enjoy that, but at the end of it, what have you actually found? If you've still found what you want, or have you just gone, that'll do?
And in fairness, there can be a hybrid here, couldn't there? There could be that we kind of go looking
Totally.
and go, right, Doug, I've now whittled down. I kind of know where I want to go, but we need this, this, and this, and we want to add that. And so we then could have done some of that research enough
Yeah. Oh, totally.
for it to still be fun and gone, that's enough now.
Nothing sweeter than coming to me saying, I want this hotel on these dates, for this room, with a balcony overlooking the sea, sea view, whatever. Brilliant. And I'll sort it. And again, it won't cost you any more than you doing it all.
Everyone
and perhaps
assumes it
missing
will,
something.
well, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What's that? Oh, why should I use a travel agent? What's that's going to cost me? Nothing.
No, exactly.
So it's quite an interesting industry like that.
And that's where this episode, we're going to go through some of those hidden costs. But before I go on to that, is that where you were saying about the wedding fair, I love that it opens up. Honeymoons was the key one we're talking about there.
Yeah.
But I think you mentioned to me before we went on air of that they want to go on holiday somewhere the year before.
Well, yeah.
Representative.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Presumably you could get involved in that. They're having the wedding over there as well. You could get involved in that.
Yeah.
You mentioned, and I'm worried how you're doing your research on this one, Doug, stag and hen do's.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Do you go over and just sample the...
I don't get invited, funnily enough.
Oh, what?
But yes, obviously, that's again a challenge, and it's I think the phrase "herding cats" is good.
Yes.
So where somebody's trying to, are you going to come? Are you da-da-da? And I can do that. So I can
really?
I can chase people to make sure. I'm doing a wedding for a large number of people in Cyprus in September 27. Yeah. No, September 26, sorry, September 26. And once I get the contact detail, I'll basically pull all the threads together. So you don't have to have, if you're trying to organise one of these, you don't have to go around and chase everyone.
Wow.
I can if I just get all the names and details, I can do all the chasing, do all the booking, and get it all, pull it all together.
Get the payments. And,
Yes, take all the payments in, especially for the wedding. We can then set up stage payments, so monthly payments, which is no interest and no charges, so it's direct debit, and it just sets up and pays, and I can set all that up for the individual clients. So yeah, again, it takes off, the thing. And if you've got something, that is booking September 2026, you've got 13, 14, 15 months to pay. It certainly breaks down the hit of having to pay for that in a big lump.
Yeah.
So you can just pay a deposit, obviously, and then we just take the monthly payments.
I might be about to throw you under a bus here because I don't know the answer to this one, but I was just suddenly thinking, does that include that you could be taking payments from different people for that holiday? And now what I'm thinking here is a honeymoon.
Yeah.
And that becomes the wedding gift list, if you will, that people can contribute towards that.
Good lead in. We actually have a honeymoon gift list
Really?
system where the bride and groom, or whoever they are, can set up a honeymoon gift list. Now, what they get is they get their own web page. Okay, you can go on, and then what one guy's done is he set up a QR code on the invitation, Okay, I don't know why I'm doing that.
I can see it perfectly.
Doing that. QR code. So they go on, they scan a QR code. Okay, that takes them to the web page. They make a donation. The bride and groom get notification that they paid. Yeah. They can hit a button to send a thank you, all automatically, and that's free.
Wow.
And that's free. So again, it's no, I'm not going to use any phrasing, but it's free and it just sets it all up. So yes, I've got a couple who are having their honeymoon paid by the guests they don't want another iron. They don't want another ironing board.
Exactly.
A kettle, toaster.
Yeah.
What do I buy them? I don't know. Do they want a vase? Well, I'm sure a vase is lovely,
just
but
not 50 of them.
Not 50 of them. No. So this way, people get to contribute. They feel good, and also they've contributed to the honeymoon. And again, that's a free service we provide. So it is actually a honeymoon gift list.
I'm relieved because I suddenly thought I should have found out before we went on whether that someone could do that.
Yeah, no.
Got away with that one.
Yeah, that's good one.
And the same applies. I love that chasing thing, the stag and hen do's. I mean, I'm a part of a group that we're going on a stag do, and watching the best man and a couple of the others, the chasing all of us is it is herding
painful.
Cats.
Yes.
I can't believe you do that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Right, let's have a look at some of these key areas where they are hidden costs of doing it yourself that we might not necessarily think of. There's sort of crossover with some of these, but I'm going to go through and address these as we go. The first one I think we really touched on here, and we'll touch on episode after episode, is slightly more obvious: the expert knowledge and advice that we'd be missing out on.
Yes, I can't know everything about everywhere. But what I have access to is literally destination experts. So I will then take what I know, I'll take the questions I get asked, and I'll go off and find them. Whereas I can ring up and literally get a straight answer pretty quickly. I've got people who wanted to go horseback riding in Montana in a certain month of year. I wouldn't then. It's going to snow that month, So, yes, you can go to the ranch. It'll be cheap, but there'll be no horse riding because it's going to be snowing. So, and it's that sort of thing that I can ring up and get the in-depth knowledge of the destinations. So, again, yes, I use specialist companies that are either based in the country or they have people who are on the ground in the UK who have in-depth knowledge of when to go, when's the best time to go to the Maldives, when's the best time to go here, what should I do when I'm there, that sort of thing. I can literally quick phone call and I can find out. So I'm not going to profess that I couldn't know everything about everywhere.
But you have access to the people who do know. That's the key point. Yeah. We go to one person, you're the one that's going to the others. And I mean, I have examples here of destinations, hotels, airlines, tour operators, best times to travel, any hidden gems in the area. That's a big one for me, is that we might not be aware that anything's there. They'll have the most obvious ones that they're trying to get people to go, but there's those hidden gems. Hidden gems,
like going to Rome, you can get a private tour of the Vatican. You can get a private tour of the catacombs, I think they are in Rome.
Oh my word.
And after hours, you can actually get a tour after hours we can arrange. So so these are some of the things I've plucked out that I've sort of arranged. So
we
very
need to
special
speak
things.
about that one.
So no, it's great. The fact that I can come up with things that, again, you can't see, you can't envisage online. That's why I find it, it's great because you can sort of throw things in and would you like to do this and would you like to do that?
I like this. That is incredible. But even some other things that I hadn't really thought of until we put this list together. Local customs.
Yes.
A knowledge of those local customs, whether that's to make sure you don't get in trouble or whether it's that you can be ready to participate potentially as well.
Yeah.
That kind of that knowledge, access to that knowledge, that could be the what, the where, the when.
Yeah.
All of those, if we go DIY, we miss out on all of that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you might not miss out on it, but it wouldn't be presented to you and you get the thought process going. You probably might think about it while you're there, but it's too late then. And it's very expensive.
And I don't know about other people, but I get very guarded once I'm there because they do a lot of trying to, come to this welcome meeting. And then they're trying to sell you all of these trips and what have you. So I tend to be guarded by that point. Whereas if we kind of have started thinking about the things that we can do beforehand, then we're more likely to get a varied holiday, not just collapse and do nothing.
Yes.
So yeah, it makes sense. Next one, increased risk of errors and logistical issues. I mean, logistical issues are a big one that I experienced myself last year.
That's right. The big one there is, I mean, obviously the simple, fly, hotel, fly is pretty good. But if you've got multiple locations, you've got trains to catch, you've got different hotels to check into, that sort of thing. So I think the one I cite the most, and I think I may have said it before, is the couple that went on honeymoon to South America. They had, I think it was 3 weeks, they had 8 flights, 8 hotels, and excursions to go on. And everything, bar one was cancelled because of the weather, but every single part of that holiday just worked. They were met at the airport, because there are small airports in South America. They were met off the plane with the driver, with their hotel ticket or whatever they needed, taken to the hotel, and it just all flowed. So you couldn't actually have pulled that together yourself, because you wouldn't have known how to contact the local airlines to get all that arranged, that sort of thing. So, okay, South America is a bit remote, but I'm even thinking Italy. Okay, you go to Italy and you can do a multi-centre. And we will set up, sorry, my voice. We can set up a multi-centre holiday. And I think there's one we might discuss later.
Yep.
But actual fact, and you've got your flights or even train out there. If you don't want to go by plane, you can actually get the train to Italy. We can set all that up. And you've got your Verona, your Venice and your Rome, and you've got all the train tickets all sorted out in advance. Again, getting there and doing it, some people might really enjoy it. Some people might throw a wobbly at doing it.
It's overwhelming, yeah.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
So, and you miss the train and you don't know what time it is and trying to read the timetables and all that sort of thing. If you've got the tickets in front of you all ready to go. And again, it comes back to that thing. If you had done it, how long would it have taken you at home to plan it? And would it have cost you any more? No. So it's great, that I can do this and still sort of, cost people that, people pay the same.
I mean, the next point actually is linked, so I'm going to bring it at the same time, is that support if things go wrong.
Yes.
So again, we've got that logistical issues, risk of errors that we're trying to cover off at the beginning, but it's once you're then on that holiday.
Yeah.
Or you're about to go on that holiday.
Yeah.
You were giving me an example of someone at an airport.
Yes, the family, parents and 2 young girls going climbing in Austria. And they had to London or Bristol to Vienna to Innsbruck. They got to Vienna. The flight was then, they were all offloaded off the plane. The next flight was cancelled. So they were given a ticket. Here you go and stand in line and we'll get you sorted out. Basically, the gentleman phoned me and said, look, what do we do? So I got his details. I phoned the tour operator. Within 2 phone calls, we had them booked on the next flight. It was the following morning, so let's get a hotel, etc. But they were in a queue of 150 people off the plane, waiting to speak to someone. By the time they got to the queue to speak to those people, that plane was full, but they were on it. If they hadn't done anything and they got there, sorry sir, the next plane is tomorrow afternoon, whereas they were on the morning plane. So that was a great win, and it's that ability to contact the tour operators directly.
Yes.
Which unfortunately the public have more challenge to do, but we have direct trade lines in, because obviously we're working with them all the time, so they will hopefully answer the phone to us, and they will respond if they know that we've got a problem. So that I think is valuable. And again, that was all done. There was no charge for that. That was all done part and parcel. I think that was late on a Saturday afternoon or something, So
and I have to say is that it's very easy to kind of go, but it'll never happen to me because I've done it year after year and it's been fine. And I agree until last year, and I'm not going to name any names, but I was at Birmingham Airport, and as you know, because we spoke to you, we spent 2 days at the airport, 2 nights. 3 nights, because we had one normal the night before our morning flight, but we were then put up in a hotel twice. We had no ability to speak to anybody at the tour operator, and in fact worse than that was the first night we were taken to a hotel and put up there, and we were sort of trying to get through to them, going, well, what's going to happen? When are we going to find out? The bus is coming to pick us up, but when? We'll let you know. And so it meant that we did not sleep that night, because you're there going, what if I sleep through an email that says the bus will be there at 8 o'clock in the morning? and we missed the bus to get back to the airport to then get onto a flight. So we just didn't relax. And they just gave us nothing, no information. And do you know what they did do? They suddenly, we did get an email, so it was just as well we didn't sleep, saying the bus will be there at this time, 35 minutes away from the point we got that email.
Oh my word! Right. Okay.
And, it's just wrong, and so that it will never happen to me. I'm living proof that unfortunately it can, and sadly. If that was my lesson that I hadn't met you and gone through you at that point. I went, I'm not going through that again.
Yeah. No, that's right. I mean, even stuff like the Heathrow fire that we've had recently, not that I could be able to solve something. I can't. Obviously, I can't make flights out of nowhere, but I'm a contact point. What do I do? Okay, you sit tight. I'll see what I can find out for you, and we'll come back to you. And that's where it's communication. It's like I talk to my sons. Communication and consequences. If you can communicate and see what's going on and help, then it means a massive difference.
Yeah, because it's that unknown. As humans, 2 and 2 very easily become 100 or 0.
Yeah.
It's never 4. So communication is key. I get that. And didn't you bring up an example of a visa as well?
Yes, there was a lady I know. I booked a couple of trips for her. She said, I'll do this one myself. She was going to Australia. And she got to the airport and they said, okay, well, where's your Australian visa? And she went, pardon? Good. So when I book stuff, I go through the paperwork, and on part of that, and I make a phone call as well. Have you got like your entry visa for America? Even if you're going on a cruise and you land in Miami to then go down to the cruise port, you don't need to spend half a day there. You've got to have an entry visa into USA. Oh. So she managed to she went online at the airport, Australian visa. Oh, website down for maintenance. So, right, okay. So within half an hour of the flight, I think it was an hour or something like that, or half an hour, the website came live and she got her visa done. But it was stress levels. She wasn't going to be allowed on the plane without this visa. I just have a helping hand. Have you got this in place? Have you got? Right, okay, yeah. So again, it's that it's just doing it really and just communicating it.
I mean, there was even a basic one. Some of the European countries now we have to pay. A visa now going over there. Is that a visa?
It's a European entry visa. I need to check on the details of that.
It varies
it's a movable
from country
feast.
to country.
Yeah, movable feast.
And I remember some years ago, and I forget which country it was, but it had to be, let's say it was £20. I can't remember what the figure was, but it had to be British sterling notes of £20. Yeah. Not in their currency. They weren't interested in it being in their currency because their currency wasn't very strong. And thank goodness we only heard the day before we left that we had to do that. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have had it on me.
Well, again, there's entry forms as well. Even if you're going, you need to do a country entry form. So you might need to do that. So I'll try and give you information on that before you go in. So I've got a couple going to St. Lucia, and again, there's a form you need to fill in just to go into St. Lucia. It's not difficult, but if you've got it done, you can get it done up to 3 days before you fly. Then you've done it. So it's good. Booking
cancellations?
Yes. Now I'm not here to disrepute anybody, but there are things where you can go online and you can book it all instantly. Okay. And I've had 3 people come to me where I'll just backstep a bit. We use a live system. Okay. So when you're on the phone and you pay me the deposit and I click book. Okay, it's a live system. It'll check for updates, and if there's any problems, it will come back and tell me. But that is then booked on that time and date. Other systems online don't necessarily use a live system. They will look at what it was hours before or something like that. And I've had 3 occasions where people have come to me where they booked something, fully paid for it in full, to be then notified that the trip or the hotel or something wasn't right and the trip's been cancelled. And they then got to claim the money back. They're not rewarded. It's not an easy refund. They then got to claim the refund. And again, with these companies that do that. But what you've got with me is you've got me to talk to. As I say, I do a live system. Once it's booked and confirmed, and you'll get confirmation through within 24 hours that it's all done and dusted. So it's very tempting to go for the cheapest option, but sometimes you may not have the protections in place and the guarantees in place that what you've actually booked is. I'm not saying it's going to happen very often, but when it happens, it's a complete disaster. I can then get a panic phone. Doug, can you help? Can you sort this out quick? So yes, that can be a challenge.
And I mean, the cancellation is the extreme. I mean, another note I had here is reduced protection and recourse on supplier issues of whatever those suppliers, whether it's the flight, the hotel,
Yeah.
you know, that we've got the full recourse.
Yes.
And it's like straight to you, and you're able to resolve or put us somewhere else. Or
Well, that's right. Well, just going back to that, the family in Vienna. Basically, the company that organised the trip for me handled the refund for them. So, you know, I just can't contact. And they said, "Oh my God, so sorry. Right, okay, leave it with us. We'll contact the airline, and we'll actually get the refund from the airline for you." So again, it's done and dusted.
And I'd give you my example last year. I was going over to. Actually, I won't say the country because it starts narrowing down who the travel company was, and I don't want to do that. I suddenly had this paranoia going, okay, well, we're now a day late. We ended up not going. It was cancelled. It didn't happen, but it was a day late. Then it was going to be 2 days late that we were going to get there. And I'm like, I take it that the resort, they must know all about this. And I decided to not take that risk. And I found an email for the resort, and I emailed and saying, I'm assuming you know this already, but we are not there with you because we're stuck here. I take it you're not giving away our room. Let's just say it was not obvious that my room would still be there, turning up 2 days later.
And the other thing, going right back to the beginning of our conversation where you book it all yourself, if you'd book your flights and your hotel and your transfer, okay, the flights might have been cancelled, but you'd still be liable for the transfer and the hotel costs. You know, we package it all together. So if an element fails, the package fails, is it called, and then you'll be entitled to a full refund. So there's so many elements there that mean,
But you said about communication though, and it's like going, well, why haven't the travel operator let the resort know? You know, we had paid extra for a particular facing room, and what was going to happen is that they go, well, they're not here, and someone else would have been going, oh, I tell you what, you're on your honeymoon, I'll give you this extra special room, and we'd get there and be given, you know, a street facing room or something, despite we covered, just because we were late through the travel. So I'm with you on all of that. It's the recourse. And the final one before we wrap up and move on to the package example that we do every episode is that it is that reduced time, the reduced stress, and greater flexibility. I mean, they're the benefits of going through someone like yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's here, and I am available 24/7. I don't necessarily want to be, but
you are. I can testify to that. You are.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, I've been doing stuff on Sunday afternoons. You know, it's absolutely fine. I'd rather get people. I'd rather people come back and review my service with a positive note than wish they hadn't. And I'd say I haven't had that yet. So
my experience with you, Doug, is that you actually are having their holiday with them in your.
I'm sorry, but I am. Yeah,
you do.
no, I love
emotionally are well into it, and I really enjoy that element.
Yeah.
Right, you can turn over to the far back page now, because this is what we do every time, is that we want to give people a flavour of the sort of things that you can be working on. And what's the sample package this episode?
The sample package is Italy again. I love Italy. Lake Garda, Venice and Verona 2026. Okay, so how they describe it, discover Northern Italy's finest sights in our unforgettable tour. The serene shores of Lake Garda to the cultural wonders of Venice and the romantic charm of Verona, the setting of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. What you get is you get your return flights and transfers. You get 4-star accommodation with breakfast. Okay, you get 8 days. It's an 8-day escorted tour with 5 included experience. So you just said, when you get to somewhere, what do you do? Okay, so what you've got here is you've got a tour with a tour manager, and you've got small groups. And basically, you've got guided tours in Venice and Verona. You've got classic or undiscovered. You've got a full-day tour of the charming Lake Garda towns. A journey into the Dolomites. Again, I want to go to the Dolomites, definitely, on a guided scenic tour. And you visit a local vineyard for a cellar tour and wine tasting. And what's not to like?
It's a bit of that.
Yeah, and again, you've got 2026 departure dates from $1,259 per person. I don't know if I'm mentioning prices on this, but anyway. But yeah, that's April, May next year, and even September and October. And you've got flights from all the normal, Heathrow, Gatwick, Birmingham, Bristol, that sort of stuff. But based on 2 adult sharing and other dates available. But that's the sort of thing that you can put together, and it's just a brilliant holiday. You've got time. You've got days when you can do your own thing.
I was about to say it does include that as well.
Yeah, you've got days when you can do your own thing, but you've got days when you're doing something. And if you want something of a little bit of a mix,
Yeah.
then these are brilliant trips to go on.
And I'm just going to correct you because it's 1279, not 59. Just just to make sure we don't think.
Oh, I got to. All right.
Have you?
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. But
Oh
yeah.
no, I tell you what. That's because where did I see 1279?
It's from
28th
September.
of September.
Yeah.
My bad.
No. But that's today, as we are on the 14th of April, 2025.
And exactly. The whole idea is to keep an eye on your Facebook.
Yeah.
Doug Tanner, not just travel.
Yeah.
Because that is sort of like keeping things up to date. There'll be packages on there. Plus, come to you and speak because this is just a sample. This isn't sort of like trying to go and get this now necessarily.
No.
Although you can do. But it's an idea of the packages that are able to be put together. So you either go looking freestyle.
Yeah.
But equally, as an organisation, you bring together these packages, pre-packaged, I guess is the best way to say it.
Absolutely, yeah, it's pre-packaged. And the prices are always from, because we don't know what the flight prices are. As planes fill up, prices go up, that sort of thing. But
I was really talking about the flights. I've got to say, normally when you see these, they're kind of like, just from Bournemouth Airport or Exeter Airport, and that's it. Whereas this, it is Heathrow, Gatwick, Manchester, Birmingham, Edinburgh, Newcastle, Stansted, Dublin. And it's like going, I've never seen it with that much of variation for these kind of packages.
Yes.
So I'm really impressed with that.
No, it's good.
Brilliant. Amazing to get that insight. I mean, for me, that I'm a convert, and it's the best way to do this, and just throws up so many other opportunities as well as that peace of mind and less effort, etc.
Yeah.
So a great insight. I appreciate that, Doug. What's the best way to get hold of you? I think you've got the website, which should be up on the top corner wherever it is.
Okay.
As well. And your Facebook page, I think.
Facebook, Doug Tanner NJT. Literally, Doug Tanner NJT is the Facebook page. Do you want me to do phone numbers or?
Can do.
Yeah, so phone number 07425 370 400, or you can drop me an email again, which will probably be on the screen somewhere. Doug.tanner at notjusttravel.com. Lots of T's. Lots of T's in there. You've got to get all the T's in to get it right. But yeah, so just send an inquiry. It doesn't have to be a booking. Just what can I do? Where can I go? What can I do for this? When can I go here? Happy to just put ideas out.
And
together.
it can be very vague, can't it? Going,
yeah,
I don't know. I know that we want to kind of incorporate this. We want to experience this.
The big thing really is what you feel comfortable to spend. Okay, because that does control quite a lot of it, and I don't want to waste my suppliers' times by coming back with something that is completely out of your comfortable spender range. Okay, I don't want to use another word that we use, but I just want to know what would I be comfortable spending on this holiday, this trip, because that really does give me a great idea, of what to do and what I can offer.
But I will also testify is that you not only, yes, you will stick to it, but if there's also something that's just a little bit above, you will let us know and kind of go, guys, this is a bit above, but you do have this.
Well, I always try and come in with a quote on budget. Oh, there's the word. But quote on budget. But I will then say, but for this, you could do this. So, but it's not. I don't.
Only if it's worth it.
Only if it's worth it.
I've seen you do it and not do it. Depending on what's there. But I like that you're not kind of. We could be missing a great opportunity because we go no more than this.
No more than that. No, and I appreciate people have a budget they want to stick to, and that's absolutely fine. So it'll be always within. I'll try and I will aim to do the first quote within budget. So
the big thing is we spend a lot more time working than we do on holiday. And so we want to make sure it's right. And Doug, you help us realise that.
Love it. No, great. Thank you very much. Look forward to hearing from you.
On that note, we'll see you in episode 3 next month. I hope you've enjoyed it. Get in touch with Doug and find out what your next holiday could be. He's your travel concierge. Cheers all.
Bye.